So I lied to you again. I know I've kept saying that I have the last HGSS on matches, that I'm posting on this channel, but I think these are going to be it because I know that the Dragon's Exalted scan should be up pretty much any day now. Actually, I've heard from Poke Beach that they should be up today as I'm recording this, probably a couple days after. They'll probably all be up by the time I post this. But this is a best of three with Mike G, who I actually didn't know it was Mike at the time. His Facebook name's backwards, so I've just been wondering who this kid is forever. And Mark Oliver just told me it's Mike, and he's like, look at it, it's spelled backwards. So that makes sense. But he's playing as Darkrai Terrakion. I'm not sure if this is the deck or list that he played for Nationals. Probably is. But, he had a really hot Nationals run. He's been playing really well, especially in this format. So I'm really excited for this battle. I just want to give a shout out before I actually, get into the battle, and it is to the Top Cut. You guys probably already know who they are, but I just want to give credit where credit is due. This is actually Tom Dozel's list. There was a deck profile link right there that he did, or Top Cut did with him at Nationals. He ended up doing phenomenally well with this list. It's a Turbo Darkrai list. It's been really fun to play. I really like it, and that's about it for that. So let's get into this match. So this is actually a double header, to be honest. I am, as I said, playing this Turbo Darkrai deck. I lead with the Darkrai, and we're going to do the coin flip. Coin flip's going to be big because it's a best of three format. Loser gets to pick who goes first and essentially goes first. But I end up losing this coin flip, and he starts Terrakion, which, in most decks, starting Terrakion is just about the worst thing that you can start with, aside from maybe Regigigas in some cases. But it's actually really not a big deal in this deck because Darkrai is going to give everything free retreat. Terrakion becomes, a monster that way. But he's going to drop the Switch and Sky Arrow Bridge, which means that he still has the potential for the turn 1 Night Spear. And he's going to Portrait and hit my Juniper, and he's going to discard an N and, another card from his hand. And at this point I'm nervous. He's already got several Dark Energies in the discard pile. I'm pretty confident he's going to be able to put more in. He's going to use another Junk Arm to get back an Ultra Ball, which, involves a lot of discarding from his deck. So I'm starting to think that he probably doesn't have the turn 1 Night Spear unless he has his own supporter. And he actually just passes there, which kind of surprised me. So I'm in a random receiver because I don't really like my hand and the fact that I have a Juniper, but I hit a Juniper off my random receiver. Kind of unfortunate. So I'm going to then Ultra Ball away one of my Ultra Balls and the extra Juniper, because if I play it, having two is stupid. But I'm going to get out a Smeargle, hoping that I can myself get this turn 1 Night Spear off this deck. Doesn't rely on the turn 1 Night Spear, but does rely on the quick Night Spear. And being able to kind of cycle through your Darkrai's, being able to hit plus power special Darks when you need to be able to do more damage than, just the standard 90. Being able to hit your Eviolites when you need them, which is huge for Darkrai. Darkrai loves Eviolite more than anything. But I play this other random receiver, which is kind of risky in that if I hit another Juniper, I'm just really thinning my deck of supporters and all that kind of stuff. But I hit the Pont, which, kind of lucky. And I'm going to then Junk Arm away a Sky Arrow Bridge, because there's already one in play. We both play it. I'm not going to knock it out. He's not going to knock it out. Pretty sure, at least. Could happen, but I'd be surprised. And then I'm in a retreat because I already have the Dark Patch, so I just know I'll have the Night Spear next turn unless, he ends me into some crazy hand with no energy and no way to get energy. And I'm going to Portrait just to see what he has. Just kind of curious. I don't think he has a supporter because he didn't play it, and turns out he doesn't. So I'm just going to pass, knowing that I have the better hand right now. And he's going to Ultra Ball away a Junk Arm and a Super Rod, so he's gotten rid of a lot of Junk Arms. So I'm feeling pretty confident right now. Usually Junk Arms are the way you win games. So he's going to attach in Dark Patch though, and now he's going to get off another Dark Patch. So now I'm starting to sweat it because he's going to get the first Night Spear. He's going to take the first prize. He's going to Junk Arm away another 2 cards for a Dark Patch, and then he's going to drop a second Darkrai, and that second Darkrai gets Dark Patch too, so that was, I think, 4 energy attachments in a turn, which is horrifying. Even Eel decks, don't do that often. I mean, they do it, but it's still horrifying nonetheless, especially on the second turn of the game. That is absolutely terrifying. And he's going to be able to Night Spear. The Eviolite is big here because even with that 10 damage I took from the snipe aspect of Night Spear, it will still take 3 Night Spears to knock me out. I'm going to attach the special Dark Energy just in case the Eviolite shenanigans happen. And I'm going to play another Random Receiver here. And you can really tell how good Random Receiver is versus Pokegear because there's no way I would have ever hit those supporters. Random Receiver is so good. It is really especially good in this Smeargle heavy format where you just want to be hanging on to that Random Receiver and not a supporter. So I'm going to play the Random Receiver for the Pont, hit up those 6 cards. I get another Darkrai with an Eviolite on it, and I check my discard for that Dark Patch, but I haven't been able to get the Dark Energies in the discard, which is really unfortunate for me. You know, nothing you can do with that, but it's definitely going to hurt me, and I'm just going to Night Spear and put 30 on the Terrakion, knowing I can catch it up next turn and kind of just work away, try and get 2 Night Spear snipes on that bench Darkrai, and, you know, slowly, you know, but surely really do some damage. But he's going to get the Fighting Energy on the Terrakion, which I should have been paying more attention to before. But at the same, and he also catches out my other Darkrai, which is kind of a funky play. I see what he's doing with it, in that he's going to get 10 more on my bench Darkrai, so that that Darkrai can just be knocked out by a Retaliate, and he doesn't even need to worry about the plus power. He also puts damage on this one. So it's a solid play. And I'm going to draw, and I hit another Dark Patch, and unfortunately I still don't have these Darks in the discard, otherwise, you know, I'd be cruising. But I'm then going to catch up the Terrakion, which is going to be a really big play. You know, I'm going to be able to put 3 more damage counters on that bench Darkrai, and after that I'm going to start targeting that other Darkrai, because I can just try and knock out one Darkrai with the Night Spear, the bench Darkrai with the Night Spear, and actually do, you know, the 100 or whatever damage I'm swinging, 110 damage I'm swinging for to the active Darkrai. He's going to promote his Smeargle though, and this is a play that's really going to bite me in the butt. You know, hate to ruin it for you all, but he's going to Ultra Ball away for the Terrakion, and as soon as I see this, I know bad things are happening. He's going to drop the Energy Switch, so he has an energy on it, and he still has an attachment for the turn, and he's going to Juniper. And he also Energy Switches off the damaged Darkrai, which is, you know, definitely a good play, and it's really a smart play in that those energies are probably going to be off that Darkrai fairly soon if I can keep attacking, and he's going to Retaliate me. So drops that Terrakion out of nowhere, which is horrifying that that deck can do that. But props to Mike for getting that to work. I know that's not always the easiest thing to do, and this is where not having the bench Pokemon bites me in the butt. With this deck only running 7 basic Pokemon, I couldn't even use the 1 Dark Patch I could potentially use because I only have 1 Dark in the discard pile. Juniper, I still don't really have anything to go into. You know, my really only option at this point is to attach and pass, which isn't a very good option because, you know, I'm basically at the mercy of him having a Fighting Energy or not. And, you know, if he does, he can just Land Crush me for game. So, thinking it through, trying to figure it out. I don't have an Ultra Ball in the discard. I can't try and get the Smeargle or the extra Darkrai out. I'm just going to attach a regular Dark because, you know, I don't feel like I need the special Dark at that moment. And I'm going to pass. And he draws. Turns out he does have the Fighting Energy, so there's a Land Crush for game, and that'll be game 1. So now we can go into game 2 of this doubleheader. So now that I lost that first game, I get to go first, which is awesome. Especially for this deck. This deck really benefits from going first because it is one of, if not the fastest deck in the format. I know there's that Tornadus Hitmontop crazy donk deck thing that's, you know, a thing, but this is pretty much one of the best things to go first with, and I get an awesome hand. I have the Ultra Ball and 2 basic Darks, so I'm going to just get those in the discard for Dark Patches, and I'm going to get this Darkrai out on the field. I have the special Dark and Eviolite to attach to it, but really I'm depending on my opponent's hand, Mike's hand, for a Portrait, and he's going to come through for me. He has both a Pont and a Juniper, so best thing to see in a Portrait, you know, what do you need basically? I'm going to take the Pont because it's the early game and I want to play conservatively. I hit a Dark Patch, so I have 2 energy on that that Darkrai, and I'm met with an interesting play here. I have two options. I could either Ultra Ball away the 2 energy and get another Smeargle and try and use 2 portraits in my turn, or I can Ultra Ball away the switch, knowing that all my junk arms can then be used as switches for the rest of the game. And I choose basic dark because that's the obvious choice, and I end up choosing the switch, which is an interesting choice. I mean, both are valid. I don't know which I would have gone with in retrospect, but you know, the results are going to speak for themselves. I'm going to play that Pont, and I'm going to hit the Sky Arrow in the Dark Patch, so, you know, it worked out the way I did it. It probably would have worked out maybe even better, just because you get an extra supporter for the turn the other way, but, you know, I'm not sure. So I'm going to toss up this Darkrai with a special Dark, 2 basic Dark, and an Eviolite, which is awesome, and I also could have gone for another Darkrai, which, you know, I have these Eviolites and stuff. Would have been nice to attach one to a Darkrai. But I'm going to Night Spear, put 100 damage on him, turn 1. You know, turn 1, 100 is kind of awesome. He's going to Random Receiver for the Juniper. I'm not sure why he does that if he has the Haunt in his hand already, but, you know, maybe trying to thin his deck. He doesn't actually hit the basic, though. So there's nothing he can do. I just Night Spear a second time, and I knock out that Mewtwo. So that will be the second game. I hope you guys enjoyed this doubleheader. I know the second one's really short. It's a turn 2 donk, but it also had the turn 1 Night Spear in it, which I had not actually been able to get on video and, you know, uploaded to you guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you rate, like, comment, subscribe, do all of that good stuff, and I will catch you guys with the third game of this best of 3 later.